Hi, this is Coach Powers, and we're going over volleyball rotations, and we're showing you a 6-2 offense. I just wanted to describe quickly what a 6-2 offense is. A 6-2 offense is when you have two setters, but they're setting from the back row, and so that means you have 6 hitters, because everybody, when they're in the front row, can hit, so your setter is also hitting. So this is a 6-2 rotation, 6-2 offense, and we're going to go over rotation 2 right now. Okay, so here we have rotation 2. Now you'll notice that now we have moved basically clockwise, one rotation. And so now the setter is based off of this spot. Okay, so now they are in the second spot. They started here, and now they're in the second spot. So this is rotation 2. And so if we're thinking, okay, where do I go in rotation 2? Just remember, everything's based off of the setter. And so when the setter was in rotation 1 over here, then you base yourself off of her. And now in rotation 2, it's just one spot over that. It's the second spot. The setter is going to be one more over. And so if you started in rotation 1 at 3, then you're going to be one over. So you can just start counting over. How many times you count is going to put you in the right rotation. You're just going to move in a clockwise direction. So now these are working very much like what we've seen before with rotation 1. All right, so now we're going to show you what we would look like if we were going to be in serve receive, right? Because once they've checked you in a particular rotation, the referee will say, okay, yeah, you're in that spot. But then whether you're on defense or serve receive, you might move to a different spot. And so in this case, if we are on serve receive, you'll notice that 1 moves up, and 1 and 4 are opposite of each other. In fact, it's really important that you start paying attention to who is opposite of you and who is to your left and to your right. So for number 1, the setter, you'll notice that 4 is the opposite, and if we went back to rotation 1, you'd see that 4 was the opposite as well. The opposite is always going to be opposite, okay, across the court from you. And notice that 6 is to 1's left and 2 is to 1's right. And so we see that 1 is still, even though she's in back row, remember the red numbers are back row, that number 1 is still between 6 and 2. And according to the volleyball rotation rules, she cannot be in front of number 4. And in fact, she's still behind number 4. And so she is legally in a position where she should be. Now you'll notice that our passers now are 5, 6, and 2. It looks like 5, 6, and 2 are all in the same row. In fact, we could actually pull 5 back a little bit more. We would love for all 3 of these players to be straight across from each other for the most part and not staggered. Now, 5 just needs to be a tiny little toe in front of 6, right? Just so the referee can see that their toes are in front of number 6's toes. There basically can't be any part of 5's foot that is behind 6's foot in order for us to understand that 5 is in the front row and 6 is in the back row. Same thing over here. 2 has got to be in front of 3. Behind 3. 3 has got to be in front of 2. And that's how you would set up rotation 2 serve receive. Now, if we go to the next setter transition, basically that ball is being passed. What you saw was the ball coming in, getting passed by number 6, and number 1 is already in a good spot right in the center of the court. And so now 4 has backed off, getting ready to hit, and now 3 and 5 need to be ready to hit as well, right? And so they'll get over into those positions so they can hit. In this case, they're showing that number 3 is going to be able to attack the ball. And again, number 3 in this case is normally a middle. So let's kind of go back and look at what we actually oftentimes would do. This is, the way it would be if you had just straight up, let's just hit in the positions that we're at. But a lot of times as you get more advanced, now 4 is going to kick back over here so that 4 will hit right side. Okay. And then 3 is going to kick in and they're actually going to come around and oftentimes they can hit like either a back quick play or they can come around and hit a front quick play. But that 3 is usually your middle. Okay. And so that middle will oftentimes be working their way to hit that first tempo play. And of course, 2 and 5 are typically your outsides, right? So it's the outside in the back row, this is your outside in the front row. And so this 5 is typically going to be hitting that ball out there. And so that's what we were seeing. But they didn't show those different transitions. They're just showing that 3, 4, and 5 are hitting right in their straight positions where they're at. And so this is a little bit more of the beginner level, and as you get more advanced, that middle would be coming around the front to hit that instead. Let's look at our base position now. And so when we look at bases, well, you'll notice that you'll notice that the setter is going to home base. All right, so we're showing that setter is going to home base, and you'll notice that the middle is going to the middle of the court, that the outside, right, 5 is over here along with our other outside, and this is oftentimes a libero that's in place of a middle, and then our other setter, or our right side player, is where they're going to be there. So that's our base position. And then, of course, that is where we would go once the ball has been put back over to the other side of the court. We go to base defense. Once again, notice that these players are a little bit further inside the court. Again, being ready for, things like a setter dump into the middle of this court there that we oftentimes call the donut. All right, so that's rotation 2 in a 6-2 offense. And next we'll hear about rotation 3.